Well, hello and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be talking about how to get more viewers to your art website. Because here's the thing, it doesn't matter how complete or beautiful your art website is looking right now if you don't have any visitors arriving on it, right? Because at that point you're not going to be able to make any sales and you're not going to be able to build the business that you really want to build. It can also be really frustrating after all the time and effort you've invested in completing the website project and you're really excited about it and you want to show your friends and family, that's great, and then it's just sitting out there and nobody knows it's there, nobody's visiting, and we don't want that for you at all. So in this video, I'm going to provide you a list of marketing strategies that you can choose from and use to start getting viewers to your website. And I mean choose from because I've got 9, and obviously you're not going to even attempt to do all 9. I'm going to suggest how many later in the video. But for the moment, I just want you to think big picture. There are so many ways, many more ways than the 9 I'm sharing in this video. There are more advanced ways of doing it as well. But really what I want to do is share 9 ways I think would probably be okay for you to get going with, especially if you're sort of starting from scratch. Some of them might seem like they're a little bit more advanced and you might need some help with, but that's okay, right? If you're going to get the results that you want, i.e. loads of visitors to that art website and then a conversion of a proportion of those visitors turning into customers. Now, in case we haven't met, I'm Sophie, artist coach and entrepreneur, helping artists just like you to make more sales by building a profitable business. And if you'd like to learn how to build that profitable business, then you're in the right place, because this channel is all about building a business as an artist or creative. So make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any future content. So let's go ahead and explore those options. So make sure that you've got a pen and a notebook, as you might want to write down which ones you think, oh yes, okay, I can definitely do that, or yes, I've already got that going a little bit and now I can work on it, or ones that you're going, oh, I have no idea how to do that, so I'm not going to worry about that. I want you to focus on the ones that you feel drawn to, that you think, yes, okay, I could definitely implement those. So let's go ahead and start with number 1. Well, number 1 is to optimize your site for search. Now, I've already spoken about this a little bit in the previous videos. Now I'll link them below here because there's 3 or 4, I can't remember exactly how many I've done now, right from whether you should have a website to the mistakes, and then kind of how to make an optimal website, and then what website builders to use. And now we're at the point of like, well, you've got a website, how do you get people looking at it? In those videos I have mentioned the SEO, search engine optimization, that part of your site. But here I want to talk about it again, because actually, if you start by making sure that you have the right keywords positioned in your website, then you are more likely to be found when somebody is on Google and they are looking for what you have on offer. So it could be that you're going to be doing this. It could be that you are outsourcing at this. It could be that the person who's building your website is also able to do this for you, which would be optimal, because really you don't probably want to be doing it. You'd probably be rather creating than working out how to do SEO, unless you are that secret geek. If you are, let me know in the comments below and say, Sophie, I am that secret geek. I really am interested in SEO, in which case I'm gonna pop an article, a link to an article off a site that I really rate to follow for SEO. And for those of you who are interested, you can click through and read more about it there. So ultimately, what you want to be doing is finding and creating your own list of possible words and phrases that your target market, your ideal customer, might use when they go to somewhere like Google and they start looking for what you have on offer, right? What do they put in? So you're just going to get into the head of your target customer and you're going to say, okay, they might put in, it depends on what you do. If you do abstract landscapes of Scotland, then we're going to type in abstract landscapes of Scotland and see what comes up, all right? Google will suggest some other ideas, and you can also use keyword planning tools. Now again, if you're a total beginner, you might go, Sophie, you've started with the most complicated thing. And I have. But here's the point to this. If you optimize your website from the get-go, you've done half the work already, right? Because imagine now, if you were that abstract landscapes of Scotland and you manage to put that phrase and other similar phrases in multiple places across your website, and that customer who really wants an abstract landscape of Scotland comes along and puts that phrase or something like that phrase into Google, and imagine if your website comes up as the first organic search. Now, what do I mean by that? Not the paid for. You know, when you go and you search for something and it says sponsored, sponsored, sponsored at the top, and you scroll down for the actual results, not the ones who've paid to get up there. Imagine if you showed in the first 1, 2, 3, at least the first page of Google. People are going to go, oh wow, I'm going to look there. And then your work is done, right? Because of course, ideally, you really want people already looking for what you have, rather than you having to create content and go out and kind of put things in front of your potential audience. Wouldn't it be better if you could do things to the website so that people who are already looking are going to find you first? So what you need to do, you need to do some keyword research. So first off, use your head, or if you've got customers already, ask them, say, hey, what would you put into a search engine online in order to find, you know, that painting that you bought from me? Like, what phrases would you use? Because they might use a phrase that you would never think of, right? So you want to get a list, and then ideally you want a keyword tool, and the keyword tool is going to tell you how many people per month are searching for that term. And you might find a list of terms with a really high search level, search volume, and then you know that you need to be doing what's going to be number 2 in the list and using some of those terms. So you'll place those in the website. And again, this is not an SEO training. I'm not an SEO expert, but I am going to link you to an article by a company that I really rate. Is right up there in terms of SEO, and you might find that helpful, and you might feel that, okay, I can actually do that myself. A lot of the website builders that I talked about in the previous video, that I'll put a card to up here, website builders, actually come with their own SEO kind of area and instructions on how you can fill that in. So this is really, really important. So before you start thinking about going out to other platforms, think about optimizing your own website for search. Well, number 2, leading straight on for that, is now you've got that list of keywords, you want to create great content. And I've got a caveat here. Some of you are going to listen to me and go, I don't want to create content. I don't create content. I haven't got time to create content. What do I do? And I'm just going to say, hang in there, you know, grab yourself a cup of tea and coffee, watch the video, because I have options for you. But imagine if you could write a blog, create a vlog, a video vlog. Imagine if you could be uploading listings on a regular basis. Anything that's putting relevant content onto your website. So if you were doing that every week, was either a blog article or it was a new listing or 2 new listings. Google really likes it when you're updating. They see it as more relevant, and you are more likely to be sort of put out there, and you're more likely to be found for your search terms if you're constantly updating your website. So you could just say to yourself, I'm going to blog. Every week I'm going to create a blog article, and I'm going to use some of those key phrases that people are already searching for. And then that way, people who are already searching for the terms, they're going to come into the website, whether it's via a listing that they've seen and has come up on Google, or whether via an article. Maybe you write about your abstract process and they found that, and they come onto the site and they go, oh my God, actually look, the artwork is for sale. How lovely, I'm buying that. All right, so number 1, you're going to optimize the website for search. Number 2, you're going to create great content, so you're keeping your website fresh. Number 3, I think, is a game changer. I've talked about it before. People have asked me to do an updated video. It's coming, I promise you. And that, of course, is to create pins for Pinterest and use Pinterest. So now we're moving away from your website onto a third-party site. But really, in terms of traffic, viewers to your website, Pinterest is right up there. There are loads and loads of people who say my only traffic to my website comes from my Pinterest pins. There are loads and loads of stats around the numbers on Pinterest. I was going to add them in this video, and I thought you probably don't need to know that, as I'm a bit geeky with that stuff. You can head across to Pinterest, or you can put into Google, you know, latest stats, business stats for Pinterest, and they will give you the number of people on the platform, the percentage of people who are shoppers, they're looking for items, they put them for inspiration, and they go ahead and buy, what percentage of people, where they are in the world, all the demographics, all the numbers. So Pinterest is a really, really great option. And the reason why so many people don't use it is it's perceived as very time consuming. But then you think, well, okay, I'm going to write a blog. So that means I've got to write a blog, and then I've got to edit it, and then I've got to put it on the website, create an image for it. Whereas Pinterest, I'm going to be creating pins, but they're short and sweet, and there are lots of ways, like using Canva, where you can actually create pins really quickly. So I'm not really sure, you know, which one is more time consuming. Some people say to me, oh, I'm just going to blog, I haven't got time for Pinterest. Of course, the optimal thing is you do the blog and then you create the Pinterest pins from the blog, so that somebody who's really looking for beautiful artwork, they want to update their home, they've got boards on Pinterest and they're looking for interiors, abstracts of Scotland, and they're searching, because Pinterest is another search engine. So you really want to show up where people are already looking, right? That is the logical thing to be doing. You don't want to be doing all the hard work, putting yourself on a platform that someone's just scrolling along haphazardly. You really want to show up where people are already looking for content. Imagine now they're searching, they're pinning, they're saving, they're going, oh my God, this painting looks amazing. I'm going to click on that pin, and the pin takes them to your website. And they fall in love with that, and they either save it to their wanted board for their new home, or they go ahead, contact you, and they make a purchase. So the number of people that convert from looking and pinning into purchasing is growing all the time, apparently. Again, you can go look at those stats to get real time numbers, and then you can evaluate and think, okay, this is a good platform for me. Predominantly the audience is still in the US. So if you are selling into the US, or you are in the US already, then it's just a given. I wouldn't even think about it. I would totally 100% go for it. If, like me, you're the other side of the world, and if you're looking to market more locally, then Pinterest might not work 100%. So you've got to think about where you are, where your audience is. So have a look at some of the stats and evaluate. But here's the thing, you can create multiple pins for all your listings, for any blogs or vlogs or content on your website. You can create static pins, video pins, idea pins, rich pins. You can even spend a little money and do some promoted pins further down the track. So you could end up saying, well, I've got a website, I've got it optimized, I'm going to write some content for that website, and then I'm going to use Pinterest to send all the traffic via that content onto the website. And here, you're probably gathering, or it's not costing you any money. None of these are paid for things. You're already paying for the website, you're optimizing it. You know, unless you outsource that, that's not costing you anything. And you're writing some content, that's not costing anything. And now, unless you go promoted, but if let's just think about organic Pinterest, that's not costing you anything. The only thing you're investing in is your time. And then you have to check in with yourself and say, okay, I am building a business. At some point, you have to invest your time in marketing. And I think, why not invest in platforms that we know are already working, rather than pushing something up a hill and trying really hard on a platform that perhaps is not set up so much for search. You know what I'm going to be talking about in a minute. Number 4, of course, you're on it, YouTube. So obviously I couldn't make a video on driving traffic or viewers to your website without mentioning YouTube. So by making videos, again, that your audience already, topics your audience are already looking for or love, it gives you the opportunity to, what have I mentioned already? Oh, I'm putting direct links below the video. You can put loads and loads of information and links in the description section of your video. You can optimize the video as well. So you can optimize it. And by the way, both Pinterest and the blog all get optimized for SEO. It's exactly the same on YouTube. You can optimize for those search terms. There are links in the top banner in YouTube that take you direct to the website or wherever you want people to go to. There's multiple options for people to watch a video like you are, and then take a next step. Go, oh, I'm interested in that article or that collection of paintings or those prints or that workshop or whatever it is that you're offering. And again, guess what? YouTube is another search engine. So there are people already looking for perhaps what you offer. So your website, so Google, if we think about Google, search engine, YouTube search engine, Pinterest search engine. For me, I'm like, why would you really go any further? But let's do it anyway. Those are going to be the foundational building blocks, I reckon. And you might choose what you're going to be doing. You certainly don't want to be doing them all because that's really time consuming, obviously. So number 5, we're going to shift gears over to the one that I'm not a massive fan of, I have to admit, and that is using Instagram. Now, I'm going to say, unless you already have some traction on Instagram, I probably wouldn't go there. So if you're a newbie, you've got a couple of hundred followers, you don't post regularly, you haven't got any engagement, I'd be skipping this one and going, this is going to be really hard work for me. But if you've already built a following and you post something and you have high engagement and people are answering your questions and following your lead and reading your stories, then it could absolutely be that you take what you've got already and work even more into it. So you want to create more reels, obviously, and carousel posts. You want to use stories, and everything you're doing, you want to be driving people to the website. Now, obviously, you've got the link in the bio. You've obviously also got the option to use a third-party app to have multiple links, so that when you send people to the link in the bio, they've got a choice. The downside of having a choice is sometimes people don't make a choice at all. And I know that a few people say, I'd rather have one link and tell people to just go to that link, and that's the only choice they've got, and you're constantly updating and choosing that. So for example, if you're a painter and you've just created a collection of prints, you got them up on your website, you want to drive people to those prints, you might not use a third-party app, have the one link in your bio Instagram taking them straight to a page where they can use a discount code to buy your prints. Then they're not looking anywhere else. Then they're not distracted anywhere. They're just going to that one place. So that's one strategy. Obviously, you can link your shop as well on Instagram. So again, if you've already got traction, you might go, okay, forget it. I'm not doing Pinterest. I'm going to stay where I am and I'm going to build on that. Number 6 is TikTok. It's the same rules really. So if you're already on TikTok and you've had a couple of viral videos, your numbers are growing, people are engaged, your audience is on TikTok, then perhaps you want to, again, just say, okay, now I want to be thinking about, well, actually, rather than just making videos of my process, the studio, what I'm doing, I want to be more intentional. I want to make videos that are specifically going to drive them to the website. So I make a video about the new print collection, and then you can use the swipe up function, obviously on TikTok, so you can have a direct link. So you could say, go to my website here to view the latest print collection, and you could be much more intentional with your content. So there's nothing right or wrong, but you're beginning to see that the beginning list, there's already traffic, there's already people looking. Here, there's people scrolling, but they're not specifically putting into Instagram or TikTok, they're looking to buy artwork, right? They're just looking. So these are not search platforms. So therefore, you're going to have to work harder with your content and your engagement to get people following you and engaged, and then send them over to the website. Okay, so let's talk about strategies if you're not a content creator. Then here are a couple of suggestions, followed by a third one that's kind of could be an option for anybody really. And of course, it's paid for ads. So number 7 would be running Facebook and Instagram ads. Now, this is, as I say, perfect if you don't create content, but you have got that good website and lots of things, lots of juicy products already on there. Here's the thing about ads. I usually do teach, don't use ads until you've got something working already. So imagine option 1, you set up your website, you're brand new, nobody's even looked at it, no one's looked at your product, no one's bought anything, you got your very first collection of artwork or workshops or offerings, whatever it is, up on the website. You have no idea whether people like what you want. Not a great idea, by the way, but imagine that's happening. You're not now going to want to put your money into ads to send traffic to that site if you've no idea whether your chosen audience is actually going to engage or like or buy what you've got. So really, ideally, you want to be option B. You're already selling a bit, not enough, not a lot, but you know what people like. Perhaps you've used your third-party platforms to discover what's popular, the abstract landscapes in Scotland. Maybe you know that people want to buy prints. You've already found that out. So then what you could do is you could run Facebook ads to your prints. I like that as a strategy because a print is usually at a price point that people will buy easily without having got to know you specifically, or spends a lot of time looking at a website. Whereas if you're going to send ads over to paintings or product that's, multiple thousands, that's quite a big ask. It's like going from cold over here to like spend thousands, and it can happen, but it's probably not a good strategy. So think about a lower price point item, something already people are interested in, and then you can send ads to that and maybe give them a discount code or a buy 3 get 1 free, or whatever it is that's pertinent for your business. Now at this point you'll be using the new, well, it's not really new, but newly refreshed Meta Business Suite, and you'll be able to run ads to Facebook and Instagram from the same place. So in a way that's great. Bit of a learning curve for ads, but you know what? If you want to commit to doing that, then once you've learned them, that's okay. Ads are definitely a medium to long-term strategy in terms of you can't put one ad up and then say, oh, that did work or it didn't work. It doesn't really happen like that. You need to run multiple ads, multiple campaigns. You're going to change the headline, you're going to change the image, you're going to change the copy. You're going to test until you hit that sweet spot where it's like, oh, actually, that really works. Little copy, this headline, this image. I'm getting loads of people going there and lots of sales. And you can't just put one ad up. Some people say to me, I've tried Facebook ads, they don't work. They do work, you have to work them. So you've got to learn how to do it. Then you've got to be prepared to test. You've got to be prepared to invest a proportion of money in every month. You can start smaller, and then once you start making some sales, obviously you can increase it. So number 8, run Google ads, right? Very similar to Facebook and Instagram ads, but subtly different, because as we've already worked out, Google is a search engine. So remember when I said about the setting yourself up for SEO, and there are those sponsored listings at the top when you look on Google. Well, that's where you can be when you run ads. Okay, you're going to bypass your competition and get to the top of the pile, as it were. But again, Google ads work on the principle of somebody already looking, your target customers already looking for something, and you are paying for that result to come up ahead of other people's. Over here on Facebook, your target customer is probably doing something else, they're scrolling through something, and an ad pops up. And as long as you've targeted it correctly, that person should be like, oh, that's interesting, but they're not looking for it. They're not searching and ready to buy, whereas over here they're searching and looking already. So there's a different energy. Google ads really work really well if you are a location-based business as well. So if you, say, teach workshops in a particular town or city, and you just want to send ads out for people who want to learn watercolors for beginners, anyone who's been on the channel a while knows I always use that. So if you run watercolors for beginners, then you could run ads. People are going, I want a watercolor for beginners class in this city. Your ad pops up and they just simply go there, quick and easy. I know people who've built workshop businesses, purely the only marketing they're doing is running Google ads. So you've got to work out the numbers. You will pay per click. You can set the budget like you can on Facebook. So you can say, I'm going to spend this amount per month on Google ads and get people coming along to look and click on my listings. Bit of a learning curve as well, but Google is very keen to help you. So there are a lot of ways that they can help you. So don't be afraid. Don't look at it and think that looks really complicated. Both ads are learning, but once you've learned them, you've learned them, right? You didn't get in a car on day one and drive it. You had to learn how to drive it. It's the same with your ads. Last but very much not least is number 9, and that's using live events to drive traffic to your website. So obviously if you regularly do things like art fairs, art markets, artists open studios, anywhere where there's a large volume of people coming through, like it's not quite the same as online. But if you are doing something and there's lots and lots of trade fairs, lots of people coming through, you have the opportunity to be handing out flyers, cards, maybe engaging with a QR code that gets them onto your mailing list with that freebie. Something that they're going, oh, look, okay, yep, I need to go onto the website. So it might be a bit of a slower burn, but it's still an opportunity to drive people to the website. So in conclusion, as you can see, there are lots of options. And like I mentioned at the beginning, this is the big picture. At this point, you should be going, oh, okay, I see which ones I want to use. So now I just need to set about putting that into action. There are loads more. There's loads and loads of other more advanced things, but I think this is enough to get you going, right? All you need to do is choose and get into action. So I would choose between 1 and 3 marketing strategies, and then don't forget to track them. So you want to use a spreadsheet or something and say, oh, month 1, this, I've got 0 traffic to my website. Month 2, I've created this number of pins and now I have this number of people on the website, etc., etc. You want to make sure that you track what you're doing, otherwise you won't know if it's working. And of course, if you're running ads, 100%. I spent this amount of money, I had this number of people click through, this number of purchases, or this number of people join my mailing list, whatever. You want to track what you're doing. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you're super excited about different ways to drive viewers to your art website. Obviously, none of this is sit back and paint in the studio. It happens organically until you've got ads set up. Of course, once you set them up, you can be painting in the studio and people are going to your website and joining the mailing list and buying things. You have to invest time, energy, and effort into doing this. It's just the same with any business. So if you're sitting there thinking, I don't want to spend the time on that, Sophie, then think to yourself, well, how much do you want to build a profitable business? If you do, this is the piece, right? Learn to love it, learn to do it, or learn to make some money another way and pay somebody else to do it, which is, of course, another option to delegate. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you haven't already, check out the previous video that's on website builders. Some of those, like I said earlier, will already have SEO areas in them. They'll also have maybe some basic tracking stats so you can see how many people are arriving on the site. All right, I will look forward to seeing you on another video. Thank you, take care, bye-bye.